Star Spangled Banner and Hatikva, led by Cantor Jeff Siegel of Beth Jacob Congregation. They are the backbone of the quality of education at CTA. I'd now like to call upon Zachary Sukenik and Basya Perlmutter for a reading from Tehillim from Summers.
Shir Molos Hine Baruchu Esadnai Kol Avdei Adnai Ha'amdi Beves Adnai Balelos Se'u Yidefem Kodesh Baruchu Esadnai Yivarechaka Adnai Mitzion Osei Shamayim Ba'aretz.
A song of ascents. Behold, bless Hashem, all your servants of Hashem, who stand in the house of Hashem in the night. Lift your hands in the sanctuary and bless Hashem. May Hashem bless you from Zion, maker of heaven and earth.
We are very proud to call upon Chabad Rabbi Levi Andruzier, and father of 8th grade graduate Chaya, to deliver tonight's Devar Torah.
Mazel Tov, graduates, and Mr. Fishbo, thank you for the honor of allowing me to give tonight's Dvar Torah. Growing up, there was a story from Chelm that really caught my attention, and I want to share that with you tonight, combined together with the holiday of Shavuot coming up in another 24 hours or so, and the fact that we have such important graduates graduating tonight. The story is told about our beloved Chelm that Yankeler was going to make a trip. He needed to make a trip from Chelm to Shetlitz, for whatever reason it was. And on his way through the woods that separated Chelm and Shetlitz, he became tired and wanted to rest. But he was concerned that if he could go rest and doze off and wake up, he would not know which way he came from and which way to go to. So he came up with this brilliant idea. He would take off his shoes and point them in the direction where he must go. He did that, took off his shoes, stepped off to the side, rested, and he was so proud of himself that what a brilliant idea he came up with, the fact that he would now know which way to continue on. As he was resting, someone was walking down the streets and found it quite awkward that there was a pair of shoes right in the middle of the streets. It was just unusual. So just for the heck of it, he turned it around. Yankel wakes up after dozing off, and he's so proud of himself. He now knows where to go. He puts on his shoes and heads off in the direction where the shoes are pointing. And as he's entering into what he thinks is Shetlitz, he's marveling at how similar Shetlitz is to Chelm. It's uncanny, it's unbelievable. And he makes his way into what he thinks is Shetlitz. And the street names are the same, and the buildings are the same. And he could not believe he understood that places did resemble each other, but to that extent, it was unbelievable. And he was now curious. He was curious to see, does Shetlitz possess a street with the same name that he lived on in Chelm? And what do you know? It did. It actually got the exact same street. And marvel of marvels, there's a house that resembles his home on that same street. As he's standing, marveling at that home, a woman that resembles his wife now comes out and sees him looking at the house. And she comes up to him and says, Yankel, I thought you were going to Shetlitz. And he looks at her and says, how do you know my name was Yankel? It's unbelievable. This is a story from Chelm that I remember growing up. And I use this sometimes with the moral lesson of making sure that our shoes are pointing in the right direction. Because if our shoes are not pointing in the right direction, what we think is progress may be the opposite of progress. When the Jewish people left Mitzrayim, they left Egypt, heading towards Mount Sinai. When they left Egypt, when they left Mitzrayim, they were in no condition to be able to receive the Torah. They were not able to do that at the time. It's brought down in our mystical commentaries that's not just mystical, but that they were in a very low spiritual state. They needed to prepare themselves and to get themselves ready for Mount Sinai. As they were preparing themselves for Mount Sinai, I use the term, they had to make sure that their shoes were pointing in the right direction. Even if we have not yet arrived at our goal, the one thing we must make sure about is that our shoes are pointing in the right direction, and we're heading towards the goal that we hope one day we will get there. The Jewish people got there in 49 days. Receiving the Torah and having the Torah as part of our own legacy, as part of who we are, that the Torah gives us the ability and the responsibility to make sure that our shoes are pointing in the right direction, and that we study Torah and we perform mitzvot, everyone to the best of their ability, to share our morals and values, and to be an example of what a Jewish man and woman, a Jewish boy and girl is supposed to be. I use the same analogy for our graduates over here. As a very satisfied parent of a CTA 8th grade graduate, I must say that Columbus Torah Academy absolutely provides its young boys and girls with the ability to make sure that their shoes are pointing in the right direction. As we enter into the world, as we continue so much more to study as you enter into high school and beyond. There's much more to accomplish, obviously. But one thing you guys have is you know that your shoes are pointing in the right direction, knowing how to be a good, proud Jew, carrying on the legacy of Mount Sinai, of Torah and mitzvahs, as you each pursue your own path afterwards. Thank you.
Rabbi Andruzian. To offer greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I call upon past President of CTA, Michael Schiff.
Thank you, Marcia, very much. Mazel tov to the 8th grade graduates and all your family that's here tonight to support you. 8th grade graduation is a great graduation because really it's a time where you go to the next 4 years, which dictate a lot of the rest of your life. And if you've done great up till now, you can be very proud. And if you haven't done so great, you can wipe the slate clean. So I'm sure nobody here needs to wipe the slate clean. But in 4 years, wherever you may be, whether up here, God willing, for CTA graduation or wherever you are, hopefully you all will be attending whatever university or program that you aspire to. And my main advice, take it or leave it, but is that you just, if you work hard, treat people with respect, and do the right thing, it will all pay off, and you'll do and accomplish whatever you choose. So on behalf of the board, again, we thank you all for being here. We appreciate all of you attending CTA, graduates like yourself and like the 12th graders last night that make us proud to all be a part of CTA and feel every time we're here that CTA is a great place. It does a great job preparing our young people for not only academic life, but real life too. And we appreciate you being here. We wish you all only the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. The 8th grade graduating class of 2011 has its own unique personality. Epilogue and prologue, the presentation they have written under the direction of their language arts teacher, Steve Guinan, reflects this. I now proudly present the 8th grade graduates.
It still felt like summer. It was a perfect blue sky day, but I had to go to school. I didn't want to go. The entire car ride to school, I had been thinking about all my friends back in Cleveland who didn't have to start school until next week. I didn't want to go to a new school in Columbus. I didn't even want to be in Columbus.
I was surrounded by many people that I didn't know. Truthfully, I didn't want to be there. A silence at 6th grade told me where to congregate with my grade in the parking lot.
Reluctantly, I stepped out of my mom's car. There was a crowd of people standing in front of the school building. I made my way over to the teacher and shyly said hi to all the kids standing there, my new classmates.
The headmaster attempted to release a bag of balloons for CTA's 50th anniversary, but the balloons got stuck. It took them 20 minutes for a janitor to climb up onto the roof and drop the balloons. How are they going to properly teach me if they can't even get balloons to drop in the roof?
So began my first school year at Columbus Torah Academy. In my mind, I would compare the kids in my class here to all my friends back in Cleveland. I would talk on the phone every day with them and complain about how horrible Columbus was. Everything was completely different for me. I stubbornly didn't even try to adjust. If my family saw how miserable I was, maybe they would feel guilty and move us back to Cleveland pronto. That didn't really work. When I realized that I definitely wasn't going back, I let myself adjust to CTA. I became friendlier and moved more social to my classmates. Before, I felt that it wasn't fair to my Cleveland friends to make good friends here. I was too loyal to them. I eventually let them go.
However, I slowly found this new strange place welcoming. I learned many things throughout my studies. In 7th grade, I dissected a frog and a pig in science class. In math, I learned how to solve quadratic equations, use logic to solve almost every new equation, and that math is fun, not funny. In social studies, I was fascinated by the history of America and the Civil War. Throughout the year, I learned how to be a better writer by writing many creative stories and many entries in my journal in English class. My Judaic studies taught me the values of Judaism. I was taught more in depth about the Holocaust and the founding of the State of Israel. Through that, I learned the history of the Jewish people and the importance of the State of Israel. In the fall, when I wasn't studying, I was representing CTA on the soccer field. I played for the team for 3 years and enjoyed playing very much. Even with the disappointment of the balloons not dropping on the first day of 6th grade, I found that my experience at CTA was better than I expected.
Now, 3 years later, I am finally moving back to Cleveland. 3 years ago, this would have made me happy, but now I'm going to miss Columbus. Over the 3 years I have been here at CTA, I have learned that things may seem bad to begin with, but can turn out good at the end. Next year, when someone asks me what school I used to go to, I will proudly tell them Columbus Torah Academy.
I would not be standing here graduating without the help of some very special people. First, I would like to thank my 8th grade class for supporting me and asking great questions in class that taught me many things that I could not have learned without them. I would also like to thank all my teachers at CTA, and a special thanks to Dr. Kennedy for teaching me a love for science and inspiring me to want to become a doctor, and Mr. Diamond for his guidance throughout the year. And finally, without my mom and dad, I would not be here. You taught me to work hard and to try my best. We would like to thank everyone here for coming here tonight and supporting us. Now I feel that the balloons have successfully released. Thank you.
Every year, the 5th grade class performs a reenactment of the Underground Railroad. The performance has become a CTA tradition. Our class in particular spent a month preparing for our Underground Railroad performance. During our practices, I jumped around a lot. At home, I studied my lines, but perhaps I didn't learn them as well as I should have. When the day of the play finally came, everyone did a good job with their lines and cues. Soon, the play was nearing its end. My scene with Nathaniel Carey was coming up. It consisted of a civil conversation that was difficult to memorize. The scene was going well, until that fateful moment. Nathaniel had just delivered his line, and I was to perform my line. I looked at him straight in the face and tried to say my line, but didn't. My mind totally blanked and left the scene of the play for a few minutes. While I was daydreaming in the middle of the play, I heard someone whispering to me. It was Miss Alexander, the mastermind behind the whole play. She quietly told me the beginning of my next line. I finally remembered the line and quickly finished the rest of the scene. In life, no one will stand offstage to listen to us when we metaphorically forget our lines. True, we can rely on the support of our cast members to help us through challenges, but now, since we are leaving junior high and entering high school, we are entering a new realm of responsibility, a responsibility that rests on our shoulders, not anyone else's. May this be a lesson we carry with us into high school and throughout the rest of our lives.
It was a Monday morning of September, and in gym, junior high was playing ultimate football. It was 8th versus 7th with Mr. Bailey. The game was intense, and then something happened. The game was 9-18, and David, who just caught a long pass from Avi, flipped it to Zach in the end zone, who was feet away from him for a sure touchdown. Everybody in 8th grade cheered that we were in the lead, but unfortunately, Zach dropped the finisher. Under the heat of competition, I blew up and insulted Zach. As a 7th grader, only 2-point lead, Mr. Bailey called me over and told me next time I put down someone, I would receive a personal invitation to Mr. Hinder's office. Sure enough, when I went back in, I made a couple of mistakes that Zach joked about. In the end, 8th won by 1 point, and of all the people, Zach had the winning touchdown. After the game, I apologized to Zach for insulting him. From this epilogue, I learned a couple of lessons that will assist me in my future life, both in and out of school. Think before talking. What you say might be harmful, and no matter how insignificant you intend it. Treat people the way you want to be treated. If you are friendly to people, they will be friendly back. Both of these lessons can help us succeed in the future, whether on the field, at work, at school, or at graduations. I will use the tools of life that CTA has taught me and use the lessons I learned.
Being yourself is sometimes a very hard thing to do because of peer pressure. As Polonius once stated, neither a borrower nor a lender be, and to thine own self be true. Meaning everyone should be the person they want to be instead of the person everyone else wants them to be. In 7th grade, I learned I could be swayed by my peers. In art class, we were given the freedom and responsibility to work on our projects alone. But my classmates found a way to open the window and compelled felt that peer pressure, I was one of the first to climb out. I got a nice view of the bright white roof and came back in. Class ended and the week went on as normal, until I got called down to the office, where I was awarded a Thursday detention for my crime. The following Monday, Miss Nyworth gave us a common sense quiz. I'm sure I would not have climbed out the window had I not felt the pull of peer pressure. I'm sure there will be times when I will face the pressure to not be myself. In fact, it is a lifelong challenge for all of us. But those moments also remind us of our true character and how important it is to be faithful to who we are.
Sometimes the simplest directions can be the most difficult. What piece of advice do we hear more than pay attention? Pay attention to teachers. Pay attention to parents. Pay attention to directions on the test. For some reason, I lacked this direction as we prepared for the sword fight in the 7th grade Shakespeare play. At first glance, the swords didn't look real. I reached to touch one of the blades. Feeling the cold metal blade, I realized that they were indeed real. All the boys got up onto the stage to choreograph the fighting scene. The boys were handed a cold metal sword with a plastic tip on the top of the blade. We were taught some basic moves, how to block, strike, parry, thrust, and so on and so forth. Then we were paired up. Matthew and I started our routine that consisted of many strikes, blocks, and some occasional fancy moves. But during one part of our choreographed scene that I was supposed to block while Matthew made a strike, I spaced out. I stopped paying attention. Matthew made a swift strike with his sword. The cold steel hit my arm with a slicing motion. I pulled my arm back as quickly as it happened. Fortunately, it was only a mere flesh wound. The lesson that I learned from this incident is to pay attention, whether it be practicing for a Shakespeare play or even paying attention in class. It took me a long time to learn this lesson, but going into 9th grade and as the grades get harder, may this be my prologue to pay attention to things that matter the most.
I remember in the 6th grade, someone brought a terrible virus to school. It wasn't even someone in my class who brought it, but the virus went around school and everyone was getting sick. I got one of the worst cases and was out of school for a week. Even when struck by a virus, our classmates rose to the occasion. That week, people called each other to see how they were feeling and when they were coming back. At the time, my class was practicing for a play later that week. On the day of the performance, one of the main parts was taken over by someone else because he, as well as 5 other people and I, were sick and couldn't come in. You realize how close our class is because of how fast the virus spread, and when people were sick, everyone wanted to make sure you were doing okay. At a small school, everyone's friends. Although you're not able to tell people you had the largest 8th grade graduating class, you can proudly say everyone in my 8th grade graduating class was friends. Even though this is the end of the 2011 class, since some kids are leaving, and possibly maybe even some kids are coming, I think we all know it's not the end of our friendships. Our friendships with kids we spent many years with will remain.
Columbus Torah Academy is a place I've called home for the past 9 years. From entering kindergarten as a young girl until today, graduating as a 14-year-old. This is the place that's anchored me and comforted me every morning as I enter the front doors. Whatever positive qualities I may possess is due in a large part to my education at Columbus Torah Academy. My teachers all through these years and the friends I have made are a major part of who I am today. As a student, I have learned many skills at CTA, from Flemish to English, from Navi to math, and so much more. Regarding my general studies, I'm now able to read thoroughly, and I've been able to sharpen my writing skills during these past years. My math skills have become better, and my knowledge of history has grown. As for my Judaic studies, my reading too has become better, along with the Hebrew grammar skills that help me understand the Chumash Navi that I study. My Hebrew comprehension in general has expanded as well, even though I understand it more than I'm able to speak it. It is undoubtedly the atmosphere at CTA that has helped me with all these skills and to become the student that I am today. Perhaps even more important is the sense of confidence and self-esteem that I have gained. My teachers at CTA have been incredible role models in addition to the skills that they taught. They taught me how to hold my head up high as I walk down the hallway, even though I wear long skirts and long sleeve shirts no matter what the weather. I learned from them the importance of feeling comfortable in my own skin, despite the fact that I was a bit I was a bit limited on how much I was able to participate in some of the social opportunities. My teachers taught me the importance of each and every one of us. I'm so very appreciative of all the friends I've made at CTA. Thinking of myself as that shy 5-year-old back in kindergarten, I can't believe that my confidence from then has grown to where it is now. I no longer worry about others would think of my work, and if what I've done is good enough. I also no longer withhold my thoughts during the class discussion, but I rather am now able to speak up and say what's on my mind. I hope I will be able to take with me the skills that I've learned and the growth that I've achieved throughout these years at CTA, into high school, and throughout my entire life. In conclusion, public speaking has never come naturally to me. I would never have thought that I could stand up in front of everyone here today and deliver a speech like this. Thank you, CTA, for everything you've given me.
Soccer for me started in the 6th grade. The 3 school years I have been on the soccer team were amazing and always fun. But the fun was just a prologue to the next level. In 7th grade, I met responsibility when I took the job of goalie. I took to goalie quickly and thought I had mastered how to play every part of the most important position on the soccer field. I played my best game and thought I was the master goalie. I became overconfident. I started not showing up to practices after our first few games because I thought that I was good enough. Then everything started going downhill. In our next game, our team and I played horrible. Our team had a losing streak and the coach threatened to kick me off the team if I didn't practice. I resolved to do my job and practice for the tournament. I was nervous, I was scared because I had lost many of my skills and thought I wasn't ready and that I would let many goals go by. Then, that game, I ended up playing my best game ever, even though we lost on a controversial call. When we dedicate ourselves to a cause and do our jobs, we find great success as a team. Indeed, practice makes perfect. You can always accomplish anything when you put your mind to it.
The whistle blew and the game began. I was in 6th grade and we had just begun our first round soccer tournament game against Liberty Christian. After scoring a goal to give us the lead, my brother Aaron had to leave at halftime to play for his select soccer team. Sure enough, Liberty came back. The game was tied 1-1 after the final whistle. Unfortunately, we lost in a penalty kick shootout. Some people blame my brother, saying we would have won had he not left. On the other hand, you can't blame him because he couldn't abandon his select team either. Later that year, I decided to stop select soccer for 7th grade through the end of high school so I would always be there for my team. I told my mom that my select team didn't need me as much as my school team, and I was much closer with my school friends than my select soccer teammates. At CTA, we may not be the best team or win a state tournament. However, we still make up the essential qualities of a team, and being part of a team, it's important to go where you're needed. Sometimes you have to give up things you enjoy to not let your true friends or school down. And that sometimes it doesn't matter if you win or lose when you know you're doing the right thing.
Earlier this year, my leg was broken in a soccer game. We were playing against Patriot Preparatory Academy. I was reaching for the ball with my right leg when I was struck in the ankle from behind by an opposing player. I later found out that there was a 4-inch crack going at my tibia. I was dreading the thought of going to school with this handicap. Carrying my books, my backpack, and still getting to class on time myself was going to be very difficult. A pleasant surprise to see was that some fellow students were helping me to do things that would otherwise be very difficult. A couple students helped me whenever they saw me struggling with a heavy book or with my backpack. The students who chose to help me when I needed help also carried my things for me, even when they were going to be late for their bus or their ride home. In tough situations, you can always tell who are your true friends and who are just acquaintances. I also learned that you can find true friends in many places. Luckily for me, CTA is one of those places.
Being at Columbus Tour Academy for 10 years already definitely has its upsides. Since the pre-K beans till today, I've enjoyed many extracurricular activities. I feel like sports is a huge part of my life at CTA. Whether it's volleyball, basketball, or softball, I always have my head in the game. However, one game in particular sticks out among the rest. One game that taught me such an important and valuable lesson that I look back at and reflect on constantly. It was the end of the third quarter. The CTA Junior High Lady Lions were down 12-25 against Patriot Preparatory. This game was aggressive, and already the injuries were numerous. Molly, with her black iron stubbed finger, dribbled down the court and passed to Hava, but the ball slipped right through her hands. Right at that moment, everything turned to slow motion. The entire team, it seemed, and myself dove for the ball. I was overtaken by the massive tidal wave of players. My feet flew out from under me as I fell down towards the hard gymnasium floor. I tried to break my fall with my right wrist. The pain was instantaneous, and the snap was loud. I asked Coach Amy to be taken out right away. I sat on the bench crying and holding my swollen wrist. Then Chaya fell hard on her back and got the wind knocked out of her. In truth, we thought she was going to die. I searched the stands for a physician. The only doctor present was a disinterested spectator buried in an iPad. "Mom!" I shouted. 2 things. First, I think I might have broken my arm, and second, Chaya's sort of not breathing. Fortunately, my mom helped Chaya breathe again. The game of injuries was finally coming to an end, but not a good one. We left that court like brave soldiers after a battle, bruised, bandaged, and broken. The result of that game was a broken right wrist and a waterproof, bright purple cast. However, the injury didn't stop me. That weekend, I danced at the NCSY Chapeton, and for the rest of basketball season, I was at every game wearing my jersey and cheering on my team. I saw breaking my wrist as a setback, but not a reason to stop everything with sports and school. Even when I couldn't play, I still felt like part of the team. The worst part was not being able to write. I got very behind, but I caught up as best and as fast as I could. Clearly, breaking my wrist was difficult, but I learned that I shouldn't give up, ever. And even when something bad happens, something good will always come out of it. Now I can shoot and dribble, left-handed.
There are pros and there are cons to being the headmaster's son. When I first came to CTA, in 5th grade, I didn't know how to act. I'd been the principal's kid before, but never actually in the school that he was principal of. I didn't know whether to go to kids and say, "I'm the headmaster's son, you better do what I say," or shrink in the corner and be ashamed that my father ran the school. I concluded to try and be a normal kid. I wasn't ashamed of my father, but when I was with other kids, I pretended that he was just another parent, even though they knew as well as I did that he was the headmaster. It was difficult at first. I didn't want kids thinking, "Oh, he's the headmaster's son, he's going to get us in trouble." I learned something, though. A kid having those impressions about the principal's son is inevitable. You have to work to stop those kinds of impressions, and just be yourself. After 4 years, I feel that I can walk into CTA as a normal kid and not just as the headmaster's son. Ever since 5th grade, CTA has been a home to me. And wherever life takes me in the future, although I'm pretty sure I won't be the principal's son there, I will treasure the memories I had from these 4 years at Columbus Torrey Academy.
When we consider the things we can accomplish, we quickly realize that our greatest achievements are those we do as a group, as a community. A class, a committee, a team are examples of the groups we are part of, and what every community needs, perhaps most of all, is a leader. A person who can guide the many talents and abilities of every member. Whether it's the president of student council, a captain on the pitch, the valedictorian of the class, or the musical genius of a band, being a leader is something every human being can work toward and achieve. Stepping up as a leader is something my friends and I have had to work toward. As a 6th grader, I worked very hard during practice, and I became the assistant captain of the soccer team. When Coach Rich Russell asked, "Who wants to be the captain?" I was the only one to raise his hand and step up to take that significant role. The lesson here is to become a leader, you have to work hard and be willing to take that role. Also, seniority doesn't always make you the head of the pack. Many times in life, depending on the task or goal, everyone will be called up to lead and take that position. The challenge for us graduates, as we look to high school, is to be ready to be leaders, and with patience, dedication, and vision, realize what we as a community set out to be.
It's very gratifying that our graduates have learned meaningful life lessons beyond just math, science, hummus, and Gemara. To award the diplomas to the graduates, I call upon two of their beloved junior high teachers, Rabbi Weitz and Sage Thompson. Chaya, Mushka, and Druzier. Arik Baliti. Ori Y. Benatar. Jacob A. Grubb. Avi Khan. Basya Perlmutter. David Lewis Polster. Rebecca Portman. Matthew Jason Rodier. Yehuda C. Rosenberg. Roston Shore. Zachary David Sukenik. Susanna H. Wilhelm. David Wolfson. Congratulations, graduates. We began a tradition 2 years ago on the 50th anniversary of the school to invite one of our alumni to deliver an address at graduation. This year, we are pleased to have Jacob Portman from the class of 2009 and brother of 8th grade graduate Becky to offer his reflections. After graduating from CTA, Jacob studied in Jerusalem for a year at Eretz Hatzvi, and he recently completed his freshman year at the University of Maryland. We are very glad to welcome Jacob back.
It's a bit taller than most of the graduates. So all the other teachers, faculty members, parents, families, friends, and of course the 8th grade class of 2011. Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak at graduation. It is a great privilege to be a part of your celebration tonight as the official alumni speaker. You guys get a state representative when you graduate high school, don't worry. I know my sister Becky was hoping for famous CTA alum Josh Radner. But I guess the bright side of having me speak, Becky, is I don't have to bother explaining how I met your mother. For those who don't know me, my name is Jacob Portman, brother of the aforementioned graduate Becky. who is no doubt probably quite embarrassed after having already been mentioned in my speech twice in the first minute. Don't worry, Becky, I'm done picking on you now. It certainly is great to be back at my old alma mater, and I'm excited to offer the graduates and everyone here tonight a few words of wit and wisdom. It has been almost 2 years since I last did this lectern, or pardon my Yiddish, Stender, at my 12th grade graduation. And if I want to throw another number out there, and I will, 6 years since my own 8th grade graduation. I don't really remember what I spoke about at my 8th grade graduation, but I'm sure it was quite stirring. However, I do remember what I spoke about at my 12th grade graduation. I spoke about how I was the only one in my class to have gone through CTA from pre-K all the way to the end of high school, and compared my 14-year journey to the first recorded ascent of Mount Everest by Sir Edmund Hillary in 1953. All of you graduates tonight still have a few years of climbing left, but I know you'll all make it to the summit, and hopefully without Sherpas and supplementary oxygen supplies. That was a very specific joke about high altitude climbing. If you didn't get that, I apologize. I've traveled a long way in my 2 years since graduation. I spent last year learning in Yeshiva in Jerusalem, and just a few weeks ago I finished my freshman year at the University of Maryland. As time inches forward, I appreciate my time spent at CTA more and more. When I come back to visit and see my teachers, I realize how much they cared for me as a student and as a person. When I was in the middle of my education at CTA, I took for granted many of the amazing things that were offered to me. It's only now that I'm discovering how much CTA has given me and made me the person I am today. For instance, this past year I made an effort to get to know my professors, and I went up to talk to them after lectures quite often. In a classroom of 400 students, it is incredibly easy to remain anonymous. But as a CTA grad, I couldn't imagine doing that. I needed to have that face-to-face relationship I was so used to and expected, and I went out of my way to do just that. As the years go on, I'm sure that I'll find more ways CTA has impacted my life. CTA helped teach me the importance of choosing my own path. The small size of the high school demands students to be as active and involved as humanly, and in some cases, superhumanly possible. I loved how involved I could be at CTA and how much of an impact I can make. These lessons of being active and involved in the things I believe in ultimately helped me make my decision to make Aliyah this fall. Starting in September, I'll be living on a kibbutz in northern Israel, working on my Hebrew and agricultural skills. Later on, I'll be joining the Israeli Defense Forces and finishing up my education at an Israeli university. I'm incredibly excited to start my new life in Israel, and I owe a lot of thanks to CTA and the teachers here for inspiring me to make tough decisions and strive for what I believe in. These tough decisions begin in high school. Whether you stay here at CTA or go on to other schools, high school is when you start to decide what you are passionate about and want to focus on. From athletics to the arts, now is when the things that were once only extracurriculars become everything to you. Tonight, you're the top dogs of junior high, but tomorrow you'll be lowly freshmen. Don't be intimidated by your diminished status. Start off high school at making the most of the opportunities offered to you. Be active members of the incredible experience and community that is high school. In a way, you graduates and myself are quite similar. In the coming years, many new and exciting opportunities await us, as well as a lot of tough choices that need to be made. But I know that by using everything we've learned here and continue to learn here at CTA, we will all find our own path, whichever way it may lead us. To the graduating 8th grade class of 2011, I wish you congratulations and mazel tov.
We certainly can be proud of our graduates. Jacob, you're a fine example, and we take pride in all your future accomplishments. To present the 8th grade class gift, I call upon Ori Benatar, and to receive it, our teacher, Amy Nyworth.
The 8th grade class and I would like to present some graduation gifts. The first one will be a projector for the art room and our art teacher, Ms. Nyworth. And the second one, a butterfly feeder for the school's development and sharing garden. The 8th grade class of 2011 hopes that these gifts will be used by students for many years to come.
And I just wanted to thank the graduates of the class of 2011 for this amazing virtual projector. It will exist in real life soon. And it really shows that students at CTA value the arts, and it's a great way ways to remember the graduates of 2011, and I hope that you guys will all remember me besides being the teacher who gave you the common sense test. Thank you.
Eighth grade graduation is a rite of passage from elementary school to high school, an epilogue and a prologue. To document this special journey, Avi Khan, along with his fellow classmates, has created this unique video for your viewing. Good job, Avi, and good job, class. It's now my pleasure to call upon Headmaster Rabbi Tzvi Khan to deliver his personal message to the graduates.
There are pros and cons to being a father of one of them. That's not really what I'm going to talk about. I tried to find a pasuk, a verse in the Torah, in Tanakh, that I felt really captured the essence of the class, and I burnt the midnight oil a little bit and searched, and I couldn't find a pasuk in the Torah that I thought really fit the bill. And so I began to look through the books of Nevi'im, the books of the prophets, and I still couldn't find exactly the right verse. Then I looked through the books of Ketuvim, of the writings, and I still couldn't find it. So I went on to the two Talmuds, the Palestinian Talmud and the Babylonian Talmud, and I went on to the books of the Midrashim and the books of the early rabbis, and I couldn't find the right pasuk. So finally, in desperation, I pulled a book of quotations off the shelf, and there it was in the section on school, a quote by Mark Twain that I think captures you guys pretty good. It says, "Never let school get in the way of a good education." And I think our young men and women in the class of 2011 have taken that to heart. They have their own questions. They don't just accept things because you tell it to them once, twice, 3 times. They have their own energy. They have their own experiences that they choose to experience and to find out and to learn from actual real-life experience. And I think that's the way it should be, and that's the way it is for them. And that will stand them in good stead as they move into the future. During that search, I did find one pasuk that I thought was very relevant to tonight's graduation, and it happens to come from this week's Parsha of Ba'alotcha, where the Torah talks about Aaron, the Kohen Gadol, lighting the candles of the menorah, lighting the lights of the menorah. And the word is actually Beha'alotcha, and Rashi comments that word is an unusual word, and it doesn't just mean to light the candles, but it means to make each flame go up independently. That there was an obligation not just to light a candle and walk away, because it could always go out, but really to light it and to make sure that it was well lit and to the point that it had an independent kind of life of its own, and then Aharon could walk away, knowing that the light would continue to burn faithfully through the night. And that's really what the last 8 years have been about for our students. It's been about all of the teachers and you, the parents, working with them, inculcating in them your values and our values, our traditional Jewish values, so that at this point we can begin to step away and to say to them, you're ready to burn on your own, you're ready to begin sharing your values and your light with the rest of the world. What a fantastic thing for them to look forward to, and what a beautiful thing for us to be able to sit back and stand back and enjoy. Mazel Tov, graduates. We are extremely, extremely proud of you.
I too want to thank parents who partner with us in the education of their children. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and we are very grateful to be your partners. I also want to thank the many families who have come to celebrate with us tonight. You are cordially invited to a dessert reception in the old gymnasium immediately following the graduation ceremony. Please remain seated until the recessional is completed. We will conclude the evening with a reading from Psalms by David Poster and Chaya Andruzier.
שיר המעוז אשר כל יראי השם הולך בדרכה. הגיע כפיך כי זוכר אשריך וטוב בא. אשתך כגפן פריה וירכסי ביתך, בניך בשלטי זיתים סביב לשולחנך. הנה כי כן יברך גבר ירא אדוני, יברך אדוני מציון ירא ותהיו ישמעאל כל ימי חייך, יברך בנו ובנך שלום חדשים.
A song of ascents praises every man who fears Hashem, who walks in his ways. If you eat from the work of your hands, you are praiseworthy, and it is good for you. Your wife will be as the fruitful vine in the innermost parts of your house. Your sons will be like olive shoots around your table. So will a man be blessed who fears Hashem. May Hashem bless you from Zion and see the good of Jerusalem all the days of your life. And may you see children born to your children and peace upon Israel.